Okay, so far we did a time series visualization, a world map visualization. We did not look at the overall goals and the indicators. We have 17 goals, and there is a list of all goals and indicators, and let us have a look on this. For this, we start our next section for visualization of all goals and indicators. And for this, we have to get this SDG indicator list. The link is here provided. I downloaded it. And you will get the full framework for sustainable development goals and targets. Here in line 4, you can see the goal number 1, end poverty in all its forms and everywhere. Then we have the targets 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, and so on, and the representative indicators 1.11, 1.21. We know already that sometimes multiple indicators belong to one target. And now we would like to visualize all of these individual indicators in one so-called tree view. What is a tree view? Let's go back to our example, the Plotly tree map example. And a tree view and tree maps are good representations of a kind of nested structure where you have a top level information, and then you're going one information down and then the next level down. And Plotly delivers this in a dynamic scope. And this is the goal, what we would like to achieve now with our indicator list in Python. As always, we start with importing the representative libraries. Just check where we are. We are in notebooks. And as an example, let's have a look if your tree map is running here. I just copied out the tree map example of Plotly here in this example in the notebook. It works fine. And let's have a look on the structure. How do we have to prepare the data set that this kind of visualization is working? Okay, I pushed the data structure, which we had before in our plot, into a data frame to analyze it. Here we have always the parents and the names. That means what we see here is that there's always a parent, that's the top visualization or top layer, and then the names or the child is becoming the parent, and a new name show up. And this is a hierarchy we can see here in this structure. That means when going back to the current data set, when looking at this data set, how it is coming, it's for sure not designed for a computer to get read out. It's not a tabular form. It has sometimes groupings of rows. It's unstructured, and we have to bring it first in this parent-child perspective. To ensure this, I have done this for you already. And this is a form we need to be uploaded. In one column, I call the column SDGs, and we have the global targets. And I put the goals in as a first layer here, SDG, goal 1, goal 2, goal 3, and so on. Then starting from the goal 1, we get the target 1.1, goal 1, goal 1. Due to the copy-paste, I have sometimes repeating elements in. You see, I have 2 times the goals copied here in, because we had a cell which is spanning 2 rows. And sometimes, as far as I remember, I have a target where there are multiple indicators in. Let's have a look if I can find something. Here, I have a target which is coming with 2 indicators. Also here, the split cell is not there. How can we read in this kind of structure in Pandas data frame, and how does Pandas data frame behave on this kind of structure? Okay, so let's read in this clean data frame, nearly clean data frame. And we can see already that sometimes pandas is just extending a row which was putting in Excel where spanning 2 rows. If this happens, pandas is just putting a none in it. That means not available number. And this is exactly what we have to filter out. That means the very first step we have to do is to ensure that there are no nones in and that there are no duplications in. Otherwise the visualization will not work. With the command of describe, we can have a look on how many unique elements do we have. How can we fill this nones? It's very simple. In fact, in pandas, there is this fill now method that means fill non-existing numbers. And we use a method, the fill pattern, forward fill. That means if there's 509, this value is copied down to the next value. And this is exactly this forward fill. There are other methods. You could also do it to put a method where this value in a line 512 is copied to the top. But the file is organized such a way that this forward fill makes sense. I'm doing this with the column goals and targets, and I'm doing this with the SDG goals. And finally, when we are doing this, we will have some duplicates in. Let's have a look if we can find a duplicate. Well, let's have a look. What is the shape of this? 514 rows. And if we drop the duplicates, 435 unique values. Now we can try to push it into the tree map. So I copy the goals and targets into my labels, my topics into my parents, and then we go through the tree map, we push it to the labels, to the parents. So we go with max depth of 2. I will explain it shortly what that means. And then we update the figure size and visualize it. Let's do it. Okay, what have we done now? I push it to the HTML file to analyze it and to manipulate it. Okay, this is how it looks like. So we have the SDG as a top level, and then we have the goal itself in one row, and we cannot really read what is written there. Still, we have already a structure with a lot of text. Okay, not too bad. Let's further modify it. The problem is that the text itself has no line breaks here in, and we would like to read it clearly in this area, and for this we need line breaks in. Plotly is not very good in doing this kind of text processing, so we have to do it in a manual style. The text processing can be done really simple by a functionality. It's called text wrap. So here, for example, the text wrap of the first goal and targets. So I'm just reading out one of this targets. So in fact, the first one, target 1.1, and I wrap the text after 20 characters. So let's do it maybe with 30 characters that we see it. Yes, now we have a text wrap on 30 characters. And to do this, for each text element we have in our pandas data frame, I wrote a small function. So split every X word. What is the value and the number of characters? I push it back to a text. And for a line break in HTML style, I need this. And for a line break, I need this separator between two text fragments. That means I push in a text, I use a text list wrap, and then I push it back to a text string by just adding the next paragraph on it. This is a function, and I call now my labels and my parents, always splitting after 20 characters, and I go through for each in my topics. So I cycle through all elements in my topics, I cycle through it, and I apply this function. So this is a quite nice so-called list comprehension where I go through the full list and I apply a function on it. And the function itself gives me then a kind of text, which should be something like this, where we have a line break in, and you could even bring a hyperlink in and so on. Let's see what we have done now. So I pushed it already to my labels and to my parents. Let's run it again. Let's go back to the tree map. Updating overview SDGs, tree map HTML. What happens now? Way better. These are now all goals represented as a text, directly read out from the overall index list. Now let's go to goal number 1. Okay, now I can have a look on the individual text source itself and the indicators. Not too bad. What was this text depth here about? Max depth. If you would go one depth further in the tree representation, then let's see again what happens. Then directly the next level is directly represented. Okay, we cannot read it anymore, but this was, for example, goal number 1 again. Text itself, we can go into it and the indicators show up directly. So I hope this shows you a little bit how we can really drill down the individual fields. I have to admit I played really long with this just to read up all of these elements. I think, of course, in the homepage of Our World in Data it's even nicer, but this is one way how to visualize a hierarchical data set. If you really want to do it even more extreme, you can go even in a sunburst chart. So this is a sunburst chart now. What is a sunburst chart? A sunburst chart is a sun representing all indicators in one sun. It's really pushing against the labels and parents in. It's always the same technique. Now we visualize directly the full depth and we do a big draft. So, and then we push it to the HTML. Let's run the script. Let's go to the full sunburst chart. It's a very large one. I did this for a poster representation, and you can see that we have the SDGs, we have the goals, and then the indicators. You can go to the goals itself. You can zoom out, of course. And these then, for all of these indicators, the individual goals, and you can read it up. So formatting is not too nice here, and I have to admit that Plotly is not the best way to do the text processing style, but I think it shows really simple and elegant how to deal with hierarchical data sets. I hope this showed a little bit how to do a visual exploration of the individual text goals. The next step will be closer to analytic style. We try to compare different indicators now across different datasets. See you in the next section.